Right. So before we start, again, warm welcome to everyone. My name is Jesal Sampat. I am the Executive Director at Pune Gas. I have been with Pune Gas since 2013. It's 12 years that I have been part of this company, working towards the growth of this beautiful company, which was founded by my father in 1986. And next year, in 2026, we will be completing our 40th year of business operations. So, very exciting times in the last 12 years. Very exciting times ahead in the future as well. And it's a great opportunity for me to also present to you today this very important um, uh, product offering or service offering that we have brought in, which is called ServiceShield. So before we begin the webinar, would just like to um let all of you know that since it's in the webinar mode on Zoom, and we have done such webinars in the past as well for many other products and many other sessions and information and knowledge sharing sessions that we have done. Uh, the webinar mode will mean that all of the attendees will be on mute. And if you all have any questions during the presentation that I'm making or during the course of the webinar, please feel free to add the questions to the chat box. Once we finish the webinar, I will be taking all of your questions. I will answer each and every question. Uh, so kindly drop your questions in the chat box as we go along, and you can ask whatever you want, whatever doubts, questions, or queries you have. You all can add them to the chat box on this Zoom session here. Right. So we'll get started. Again, happy Dashera. Wishing you, all of you and your family, a very happy Dashera. And in Dashera, we all say that it is marking the day of the victory of good over evil. And one of the things that I would like to start our webinar today is with this thought. If there are many evils in the world, uh, there is also as many good or more people who are doing better and good to come over those evils. One such evil that I have seen or we have faced in our gas industry, in the LPG or the natural gas industry, is the evil of the LPG systems not being safe, not being looked after well, not being taken care of well, and the evils which come with an unsafe, unreliable, and a non standard, non tested, and a non certified gas system, and how it can hamper your entire process, your entire production, everything that you do. It can really hamper uh, your entire operation if you don't take care of it in the right way. In my last 12 years of journey with Pune Gas, I have come across many installations of LPG pipelines, natural gas, different sizes, different customers, different capacities, different locations and areas, each having their own requirements, each having their own challenges and problems. But what is important is every LPG system, gas bank, or a pipeline needs to be taken care of in the right way, needs to be standard when you do the installation in a proper way. And after you do the installation, it also has to be certified and tested periodically as per the norms. So we have put together an entire product portfolio and offering which will help not just customers, but the entire industry at large, be it the government PSU oil companies, be it private LPG companies, be it the city gas distribution companies which are distributing natural gas in the country. Each and every customer, user, consumer that is consuming and using LPG or natural gas for their business will benefit from this standard service offering that we call Service Shield. It will benefit them, it will help them, it will help them to understand what are the compliances, what is the periodicity of testing, and how they have to take care of their gas system. So that's what we are going to talk to you about today. How can a customer and a user benefit, and how each of us can learn a little bit more on how we can provide reliability and better care for gas systems, gas pipelines throughout customers in our country. The compliances part that I will talk about will be covering compliances in India. So there are some people who are joining in from other parts of the world. For them, it could be a standard or it could be a learning that, if the compliance in India is, a certain, in a certain way, they could also take in the same way learning from India's book and implement it in their countries outside of India. So we will be talking about compliances from an Indian point of view, and we will be talking about how we can take care for the gas systems and the gas pipelines and the gas banks reliably for all the users and consumers of LPG and natural gas in India where they are using gas for their business purpose. Right. So I hope you all can all see my screen. Yes, you can also see me on video, sir. Somebody has written that you would like to see me. My video is on, sir. So I hope that you can see me and you can see the screen as well. Right. So the first slide or the first point of information that I would like to come to is explaining why servicing your gas system matters. Now, many people would in India, and all of you all will agree with me that in our country, unfortunately, service or safety is important, but it is not given as much importance as it should. We want to all be safe, right? But sometimes we break rules, sometimes we take risks, sometimes we don't really follow the law of the land, and it is in our blood. It is ingrained in us. We all break signals from time to time. We all unfortunately, rules in India are not very well enforced. So uh, in our country, we have to become more and more safe. We have to become more and more uh, efficient with what we do. And hence, why is it so important to keep your gas system serviced at all times? Why do you have to take care of it at all times? So, the first and the foremost important point that we would like to say to everyone is that the gas system needs to be serviced to ensure safety. Number one point and the most important point is safety of the gas system. Gas is, as you know, flammable and explosive. It can cause a lot of catastrophic damage if it is leaking and if it catches fire. It can take lives. It can make a very big damage to property, and it can have innumerable consequences if the gas system is not safe. So, point number one is the gas system needs to be serviced to ensure safety, to ensure that the system is not failing, and avoid any failures through preventive maintenance and early detection of faults. Right? So, number one, we need to service to ensure safety. Number two, to maximize uptime. So what does this mean? If our gas system is not serviced, there will be a downtime, something will go wrong, some gas spare or something in the gas system might get damaged, might not be working properly, but it is not detected. And hence the uptime, uh, for a factory, for for most important part for a factory, for a 24 by 7 operations, it is very important that there is no downtime and no production is lost because the gas system is not maintained, right? So we need to ensure uptime. We need to ensure operators and the facility by eliminating risk of leaks and pressure related accidents. So there could also be a downtime if there is a leakage. There could be a downtime if there is any pressure related accident. And if a spare, some spare product stops working, and if it is not detected earlier through proper service and maintenance, then there would be a downtime which will affect your operations. In a kitchen, for example, if a kitchen is operating in the peak hours and it's a very busy kitchen, and if there is a failure of the gas system, that means the entire kitchen would shut down, and that would be very catastrophic. So we need to ensure to service the gas system to maximize uptime. We also have to be compliant with the law of the land. So compliance is important. And in India, there is a PNGRB norms for natural gas, and for LPG, there is a IS 6044 standard. So we need to also stay compliant to avoid any legal and operational disruptions. And the fourth point, if we service our gas system in the right way at the right time, it will of course reduce cost. Reducing costs will mean extending the life of your gas system, extending the life of your critical equipments like regulators, vaporizers, gas pipelines, all these other gas leak detectors, etc., will ensure that these components have a longer life, they do not break down, and in the long term, it will help you to reduce your cost of maintenance, of upkeep of your gas system, right? So these are the four most important points: safety, time, compliance, and cost. And I'm sure for every business, these four things are important. Safety is important, time is important, compliances are important, and costs are the most important, right? So uh, these 4 points are why we are wanting to share with everyone, and we want you to ensure to service your gas system uh, at the right time in the right way. Now, what is the right time? What are the compliances in India? What does the rule book say? Let us have a look at that. So in this table here, you can see we have listed down the three different categories of a gas system. A customer could have a gas bank and an LPG gas pipeline. So for a LPG gas bank, the norm applicable is IS 6044. The inspection or the certification agency is the authorized agency approved by the LPG distribution company. So the company that is supplying the cylinders, that company has to approve according to IS 6044, and that is what is written in the rule book, that the authorized agency approved by the LPG distribution company can uh, inspect and certify the LPG gas banks. And what is the frequency? The frequency is once in 6 months. Yes, once in every 6 months, the LPG gas bank has to be inspected by an authorized agency. Then we go to LPG gas pipelines. So from your gas bank is your storage of the LPG, but that LPG is taken from point A to point B to point C. So from a storage location, you will have a LPG pipeline running through your factory, through your kitchen, through your manufacturing facility or location. It could be a 100-meter pipeline, or it could be a 5-kilometer pipeline. depending on the size of your factory and your business. So what is the compliance and the requirement for that? Again, the applicable norm is IS 6044. The authorized agency approved by the distribution company can inspect and certify, and it has to be tested once a year. In 12 months, once at least, the compliance states that you have to inspect and test your LPG pipeline, right? And then what is it for? Natural gas pipelines. So in India, many of the cities are getting the piped natural gas through different city gas distribution companies in India. So what is the norm for that? The applicable guidelines are given by PNGRB. PNGRB basically means Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board. This is a regulatory board which is governing all the natural gas pipelines in India, and it comes under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. So PNGRB has laid down the guidelines to test, inspect and certify natural gas pipelines, and this certification has to be carried out by an authorized agency empaneled by PNGRB. So if you go to the PNGRB website and if you look and dig deeper, you will find out that PNGRB has given authority and approvals to certain agencies that can basically certify natural gas pipelines for customers where it is being used across the country. And the frequency that this has to be done is once in 3 years. So of course, if it is a new pipeline, a new project has been completed, it has to be done at that time when the new project is completed and handed over and when the gas is charged. But after that, it has to be done every 3 years, right? Once in 3 years, it has to be tested according to the PNGRB guidelines. Okay. This is the statutory compliance. After this, we come to the different categories and sizes of LPG systems. Now, this is something that we as Pune Gas have taken the initiative to uh, to sort of categorize the different sizes that are there of the LPG gas banks. So we have categorized the sizes of gas banks of LPG into 3 different sizes. The first one being wherein a customer is using LPG from 0 to up to 10 kg per hour. So it could be a very small, installation, a very small restaurant, a very small hotel, or a very small factory. Up to 10 kg per hour would mean that the customer could use VOT cylinders of 19 kg. They could use LOT cylinders of 47 kg or 33 kg. And mostly these are all the users that are using LPG for cooking and smaller applications up to 10 kg per hour. So that's how we have made the first category. The second category is from 10 kg per hour to 100 kg per hour. So this would have all the other set of customers who are mid-sized, small to mid-sized, again, large restaurants, hotels, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star hotels, factories, powder coating units, some boilers, small, MSME factories, many large users also, many large factories, central kitchens, malls, hospitals, schools, educational institutes. Lot of the customers would typically come under this bracket of 10 kg per hour to 100 kg per hour, where they are using a gas bank which could have, again, mostly LOT cylinders of 33 or 47 kg, but it could also have a large number of 19 kg cylinders if they are using, in some cases 50, 60 cylinders of 19 kg at one time. So all these customers come under the bracket of 100 kg per hour. And then we have the third category wherein the customers from 100 kg per hour up to 500 kg per hour. Now this could again have all your large customers, large users, large industries, industries that having continuous production, bigger boilers of more than 2 tons, 3 tons, heat treatment ovens, uh, large users of gas for commercial cooking. It could be charitable institutions. It could be, these community kitchens. It could be even larger five-star hotels that have multiple kitchens. So these are all the other sets of customers in the third category that are there up to 500 kgs per hour. So these are the three main categories that we have divided it into for LPG. And for these three categories, what are the most common components that need to be checked and serviced? So for all the three categories, this is an extensive list of components that will be used by these three sets of customers, whether it's 10 kg, whether it's 100 kg or 500 kg. There could be cases where customer is using vaporizer or not. If it is a LOT customer, there would be a vaporizer. If it is not a LOT customer and VOT customer, it would be a 19 kg cylinders where vaporizers are not used. But all of these components, the LPG manifold assembly, the adapters that fit to the cylinder, the hose pipes that take the gas from the cylinder to the manifold, the non-return valves, the thermal relief valves, pressure gauge, ball valves, which are there in the gas bank, Y strainers that basically filter out the liquid particles or the heavy hydrocarbons in the liquid LPG, the LPG vaporizers itself, the filters, regulators in the high pressure gas trains. In the first stage gas trains, we will have filters, regulators, safety relief valves, flame arresters, overpressure shut-off valves, and of course there will be leak detection sensors, leak detection systems that are there, which make up the entire LPG system or the gas bank. So all of these components need to be checked and serviced, and ultimately the entire system integrity needs to be checked along with the compliance review. So has your gas bank been tested? When was the last time it was tested? Is it safe? Is it following the standards? All of these components are the important elements to be checked in the gas bank. So we have then created a standardized offering for these LPG gas bank systems and these users. I will not dwell upon this into much detail right now, but we have categorized the packages to service these LPG system into basic, plus and pro, wherein the basic servicing would have only one service in a year. Number of visits would be one. The plus would be having 4 visits in a year, and the pro package would be having 6 visits in a year. And of course, there are different inclusions in all the three packages, and we can explain to you separately based on your requirement. Of course, what are the inclusions, what are the cost, etc., etc. But what we want to try and do is we want to try and make it very simple, easy, and a standardized approach to the entire way that LPG systems are serviced, maintained, and checked. So there will be a standardized checklist that will be created and that will be used for your LPG system, and that will become the basis of your inspection and the certification that needs to be done according to the compliance. We then come to our LPG vaporizers that need to be serviced. Again, the LPG vaporizers are of two types. One is a dry type vaporizer and the second one is a water bath type vaporizer. The water bath type vaporizer needs a little bit more servicing than the dry type vaporizer. And the way that the water bath type vaporizer needs to be serviced is a little bit more cumbersome and time consuming than a dry type vaporizer. So even your vaporizer should be at least serviced once a year, if not more. Every once a year, your water bath type and dry type vaporizers could be checked, cleaned, and the coverage that or the way of servicing and cleaning this vaporizers is mentioned on this slide, that we have to functionally check the heating elements. We inspect the temperature and the pressure safety devices. So there are pressure relief valves, there are safety relief valves in the vaporizers. We need to check them. We need to descale and clean the vaporizer body. Specifically, if it's a water bath type vaporizer, we have to drain out the water. We need to descale it. We need to remove all the rust, thoroughly clean it with uh, specific chemical solutions, and then fill it again with fresh water for it to again run properly and give you a better and a longer life. We then check the electrical panel of the vaporizers, the contactors and the different connectors, the wiring and the cabling, if it is healthy enough to sustain, for another year or so. And of course, we check the coil, we check the clean the LPG coil. If there are any debris or hydrocarbons or blockages in the LPG coil, those have to be cleaned, those have to be removed, and the coil has to be pressure tested as well. And finally, the solenoid valve function has to be tested so that we can ensure that the LPG does not flow if the vaporizer is not on and there is no liquid passing from the vaporizer after the gas is vaporized. Many of times we get calls that, sir, the vaporizer is not working, the liquid is passing through the vaporizer. So many a times the solenoid valve has to be tested and it's not functioning, and it could happen because of that. Of course, it could happen because of many other reasons as well, but one important element is that we need to check the solenoid valve function. So these 6 steps have to be taken to check, clean, and maintain the LPG vaporizer, whether it's dry type or water bath type. We then come to the compliance part for the LPG system or the LPG gas bank, as people call it. And what is the third party certification for that? So like I told you in the earlier slide, the compliance for the third party certification is mentioned according to the IS 6044. And again, we categorize it into 3 categories and models: 10 kg per hour, 100 kg per hour, and 500 kg per hour. And for these 3 systems, the inspection and the certification criteria and the method and the process to certify is exactly the same. It will only differ based on what components are there and not there, but the criteria and the SOP remains the same. So these are the 6 points that are important and how the certification and the inspection has to be done. The first thing that we do is that we test the entire gas bank pneumatically using nitrogen gas at 1.5 times of the working pressure of the gas bank. So we take a nitrogen, which is an inert gas, and we pneumatically test the entire system. We then check the flame arrestor and the safety relief valve as well. if it is clean and if it is working okay, if the safety relief valve is opening at the set pressure that it is set at. Remember that the safety relief valve is a component which should operate in terms or in place where there is excess of pressure built up in the gas bank. And if that doesn't work, that means your safety is compromised and your LPG system could have some issues or problems if your pressure goes up and the safety relief valve does not operate. It could become a very major point if this is not tested in the right way. Then we inspect the pressure regulators and the pressure gauges. We also functionally test the flow control valves and the emergency shut-off valves. So many a times if you have a ball valve and if the ball valve is shut, but if that ball valve in a shut condition is leaking, the internal mechanism of the ball valve has got damaged, and if the gas is still passing, even when the ball valve is shut, that is not what you intend. And the gas bank is again, it's a very major safety issue if a ball valve is shut and the gas is passing. So we need to check functionally if all the shut-off valves and the flow control valves are working fine. And of course, ultimately it is certified by the third-party inspection agencies and has to be done every 12 months. Friends, please remember here, inspection and certification are two different things. So in my earlier slide, I had shown you that the IS 6044 says that you need to inspect the gas bank every 6 months. But it also states that you need to certify the gas bank every 12 months, right? So inspection is an inspection which can be done visually, which can be done functionally. But a certification can only be done when there is a testing happening. You can only certify anything when there is a proper test. You cannot certify based on visual parameters or visual inspection. That is an inspection report, and that has to be done every 6 months. And a certification process has to be done every 12 months or every 1 year, wherein a pressure testing has to be carried out. So after this was regarding our LPG system and the gas bank. After this, we come to gas pipelines. So these gas pipelines could be for LPG or for natural gas, right? For both the gases, it could be a common, same pipeline that was maybe once used for LPG, but now is used for natural gas or vice versa. And whether it's a customer using LPG or natural gas, the pipe diameters remain the same. The pipe length is something that is customized based on every customer to customer. So in this, the pipeline inspection and the certification, we have categorized the entire uh, customer application and the requirements based on the pipe diameter and the pipe length. So the first categorization is the pipe diameter. So if a customer or a user in a factory or a kitchen or a commercial building is having a pipeline from half an inch, 3/4 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inch till 2 inch, right from 15 mm to 50 mm in diameter of pipeline, then that comes in the first category. And the second category is any customer using 2 inch and above. So it could be a mostly 2.5 inch is not that popular or used, but if it could be 3 inches and above. So 80 mm, 100 mm, 3 inches, 4 inches, it could go up to 6, 8, and 12 inches as well. All these pipelines come into the second category. So the first category would be more for, about 80 to 85% of the customers, or maybe even 90% of the customers or the users in India, which include your restaurants, hotels, food service establishments, kitchens, canteens, commercial buildings, hotels, industries of various sizes. And the second category of, the 3 inch and above pipelines would typically be for larger establishments, larger factories, maybe if they are using natural gas for malls, for larger commercial buildings, for larger hotels, and all other such manufacturing and process facilities where a lot of gas is used. And then the second way that we have categorized is through the pipe length. So a customer or a user could have a length from 1 meter to 250 meters, from 250 to 500 meters, 500 to 1000 meters, and then of course 1000 meters and above. So the categorization is depending on the length, because we need to also find out how much nitrogen will be used, how much time will be needed, how many people will be needed to test a pipeline, let's say of a 1 kilometer pipeline. So if it would definitely need more nitrogen than a 100-meter pipeline, it would definitely need more people, it would definitely need more time. So that's the reason we have categorized in such a easy way that for every user, it could be easy to identify what is the diameter and what is their length in a very, very simple way. And in the same way for the gas pipeline, what do we test? Of course, we check the entire pipeline. We test it with nitrogen gas. Like I have already told you for the gas bank, we test it using nitrogen at 1.5 times of working pressure. So the working pressure for LPG could be different. For natural gas, it could be different. So we will, test at that facility or that building or factory with whatever is the working pressure at that place, using nitrogen at 1.5 times of the working pressure. We will check the flame arresters and the safety relief valves again. The pressure regulators, gauges have to be inspected. Again, the functional testing of flow control valves, emergency shut-off valves, any electronic solenoid valves are there in kitchens where gas leak detection is there. Anything, any component that is attached to the pipeline, installed in the pipeline, will be tested, will be checked, which is a part of the entire gas pipeline of that facility. For LPG pipeline, the certification body and the applicable compliance is as per again Indian standard 6044. And for PNG pipeline, for natural gas, PNG, CNG, whatever you may call it, it is again as per PNG RB guidelines, which is again, I will repeat, Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board. Point number 6, I have told you it is important that we do the testing every 12 months for LPG and every 36 months or 3 years for PNG, like I have explained to you in my slide earlier. So for LPG every year, for natural gas every 3 years. With this, the last couple of slides before we end and before I can take your questions. With the entire ServiceShield offering, we are going one step further and we are taking up a responsibility, a social responsibility as a company to ensure maximum users of LPG in India are safe, are using their LPG system in a safe way. And for this entire responsibility that we have taken, we have launched the first time in India something called as a health audit for a gas bank. Health audit basically means a thorough safety inspection for your LPG system, a thorough health checkup for your gas bank, like you go to a hospital and get your health checked. In the same way, we have compiled a very, very consolidated, exhaustive list of parameters right from the Indian Standard 6044 guidelines and rules, international best practices, the NFPA 58, which is the rule book in USA and is used by many other countries, European standards, and whatever best practices standards are there across the world, which apply for Indian conditions, which also take care of Indian temperatures, Indian real world scenarios. We have made a very, very exhaustive list of that, which goes, the entire audit is a thorough 15-page audit that, we are going to start doing. In fact, we have already started doing in many of the locations. So this entire 15-page audit is going to cover in entirety whether your LPG storage is safe, what is the condition of your gas bank, manifold and the fittings, have the safety distances been followed, is there a presence of adequate safety equipment and devices such as firefighting and leak detection to mitigate risks, and does the LPG installation meet and comply with IS 6044 guidelines. The most important part out of this is that we want to ensure that the LPG users in India, the businesses that are using LPG, comply with the guidelines, comply with the IS 6044 norms, which are in itself give you a very good idea of the safety that has to be followed. So we have kept that front and center, and we want to ensure that what is applicable in India according to the Indian standards, we want to ensure safety, we want to ensure good health of the gas banks and the LPG systems throughout our country. For this, we have already started engaging with a few of the LPG distribution companies in India. We have already started doing the audits for many of the customers across the country, and you can definitely get in touch with us to do this health audit for your factory or for your establishment, so that you know where all you can improve the safety and the health of your gas bank and the gas system, and how the guidelines and the compliances can be followed. It can give you a good idea of also understanding, the different compliances that are there with the LPG system. And that entire audit that will be done will be certified by our team and will be giving it to you for your reference as well. And last slide, last but not the least, the some of the other offerings and the value added services that we offer apart from these standard packages and the standardized way in which we are going to provide service, starting from PESO licensing and certification. So for the customers that are using LPG, where they are using bulk tanks, bullets, bulk LPG installation. So the third party testing for that, the PESO certification for that, licensing for that, the degassing and de-licensing of bulk installations as well we are doing. So for example, if the company is having a bulk installation and if they are getting a natural gas pipeline supply, then they want to de-license and degas the tanks. That also is part of our service portfolio. We are also carrying out calibration of gas leak detection systems for your gas sensors in gas banks, in kitchen areas. Calibrations have to be done for the sensors periodically. Point number 5, ultrasonic thickness testing for pressure vessels and pipelines. So according to the standard best practice, this ultrasonic thickness testing has to be done once in 15 years at least. It basically is a test procedure wherein we can check the thickness of the pipeline and if it is still maintained according to the standard of that pipe or that pressure vessel, the wall thickness. So for that, there is an ultrasonic machine that is there, and we carry out the thickness according to that. the test according to that. Point number 6, we have still not started this, but we will be soon starting this procedure as well as something that we call gas pipeline endoscopy. So like we have an endoscopy for the human body, we will also have an endoscopy for gas pipelines, wherein we will check the integrity of the pipeline from inside the pipeline by inserting a high definition camera, a very thin probe, which will have a camera with a cable, which will go across the length of the pipeline and check if there are any internal disruptions, damages, blockages, deposits, debris on the inner walls of the pipeline. And point number 7, calibration of gas flow meters is also something that we are doing. So servicing and calibrating gas flow meters for different requirements for different kind of flow meters. So yes, with this, I end our short session and short webinar here today. Thank you again for being a part of this. I will take your questions. But of course, if you have any doubts, these are our coordinates, our email ID info@punegas.com, and our phone number. You can email us, you can WhatsApp us, you can call us on this number at 808 72 11172. This is our Pan India network, and I would like to convey to all of you through this webinar uh, that this entire offering of our services will be standardized across our experience centers. We have 7 experience centers across the country currently, and we have about 5 or 6 more offices and locations in different parts of the country, covering the length and breadth. So this entire offering of ServiceShield will be provided as a standard in a standard way across all our locations. Right. So I hope you have the details. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I will take the questions from all of you. I'm just opening the chat so I can answer to all your questions that you have asked. Okay. First question from Mr. Deshmukh. Which government body defines legal requirements for gas connections and bank? I hope I answered that in my presentation. The government body which is there for the LPG scenario or the LPG installations, for multi-cylinder LPG installations. So the IS 6044, which is the Indian standard covered by the Bureau of Indian Standards, defines the legal requirements and lays down the guidelines for multi-cylinder LPG installations, which have to be carried out for buildings, industries, for commercial and industrial LPG users. And for natural gas, like I told you, it is PNGRB, which is governed by Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Mr. Avinash has asked the question for threshold quantity for applicability of IS standard or PNGRB regulation. So, Avinash ji, as per the IS guidelines, you can store up to 8 metric tons of LPG. 8 metric tons, which is 8,000 kgs of LPG can be stored in a safe way using multi-cylinder LPG installations, whether it is 47 kg or 425 kg mini bulk cylinders. You can have 8 metric tons. More than 8 metric tons would attract PESO and Chief Controller of Explosives, which is the Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization, PESO. Then they come under the purview of PESO if it's a bulk LPG installation more than 8 metric tons. So I hope that answers that question. Can hydrogen gas mixed with LPG? No. As of date, there is no rule or guideline or applicability that hydrogen gas can be mixed with LPG in our country. Maybe it can come in the future. There are talks going on to blend hydrogen gas with natural gas. In fact, not with LPG, but with natural gas. So this could come in the future. But currently, hydrogen gas cannot be mixed with LPG. Uh, The next question also is regarding mixing permanent gas such as hydrogen with LPG. As I said, it's not recommended. It's not allowed. It is not as yet, possible to blend such gases like hydrogen and LPG. What kind of impurities come with LPG? Okay, so this is an interesting question which I'm sure will benefit all of you. The impurities that come with LPG are basically of two natures. One are the liquid impurities that come, and one are the solid impurities that come, the solid particles. So the liquid impurities are basically classified under the heavy hydrocarbons of the crude oils. So if you uh, understand how LPG is derived, it is derived as a byproduct of crude oil refining. One of the ways that LPG is produced is crude oil refining. The other ways, of course, it could be blending propane and butane. It could be a straight run LPG where it could be derived from directly the underground wells and the deep sea wells that are there in different parts of the world. But many of the cases in the refining process of crude oil, LPG is a byproduct. That is how LPG is produced. So sometimes if the quality of the crude oil is not very good, or if the process of refining is not very up to the mark, then there could be heavy hydrocarbons that could come with the LPG in your cylinders. It could choke up your filters. It could choke up your regulators, your vaporizers. So those are the liquid impurities. And then we have the solid impurities. The solid impurities are basically more of dust particles. They could be debris of metals inside the cylinders. They could be debris in the pipelines where LPG is transported, maybe at a refinery, maybe at a bottling plant, maybe at a factory itself, from the end user where the user is using LPG. So it could also have some dust particles, some metal particles, some uh, debris that comes in solid powder form sometimes as well. So those are the two main kinds of impurities that are observed in the LPG stream or in the LPG pipelines. To answer your question, would it be better if PNG and LPG webinar is done separately? Sir, PNG and LPG are both very similar fuels. They need to be handled very similarly. And that's the reason they go hand in hand and we do it together. Is there any qualification required for inspection? Yes, sir. The inspection has to happen from an authorized agency that is experienced enough to carry out, inspections for LPG and natural gas. And that qualification criteria is set forth by the PNGRB. And hence, PNGRB gives the approval for the agencies that have to certify the PNG pipelines in the country. Mr. Sidappa is asked, what is the MOC for 3-inch and above pipeline? So the MOC for any pipeline, whether it's half-inch to 3-inch to 12-inch, the MOC is CS, carbon steel, Schedule 40 pipelines where you are using vapor, Schedule 80 pipelines where you are using liquid LPG. So the schedule is basically the thickness of the pipeline. So Schedule 40 is thinner and Schedule 80 is a thicker pipeline. So the MOC is carbon steel. Uh, for both LPG and natural gas, you can use carbon steel. For LPG, you can also use C-class ERW pipeline, which are also CS carbon steel pipelines, which are not seamless, but Definitely, seamless pipelines are mostly recommended. And for natural gas, the PNGRB states that seamless pipelines have to be used at all times for all customers. Uh, is there any certification providers and third-party inspectors for LPG in Hyderabad? Mr. Sankar is asked. So yes, sir, in Hyderabad or in any state or any city in India, for LPG, like I told you, the authorized certification or the inspection agency is approved by the LPG distribution company. So you can check with the LPG distribution company, who is a certified body. Pune Gas is, of course, one of them. So you can get in touch with us to carry out your inspections in Hyderabad. Yes, sir, our company is ISO certified as well. Uh, Pramod sir is asking about a comprehensive audit checklist. Yes, sir, we can share an audit checklist, of course, but that audit checklist would mean nothing if you do not know how to decipher it and understand what are the different components and element of that audit checklist. So we can share that checklist with you for sure if you want to appraise and inform your customers about the same. Mr. Shabir asks, are MLC pipes suitable for commercial gas pipelines? So, if you ask me, sir, if I have to state the guideline and the IS 6044 norm, MLC pipelines are not suitable and are not recommended as well as per the IS guidelines and written in the IS 6044. So, that's something that you can, not recommend because it's not yet approved by the IS 6044 guidelines. So MLC pipes are not suitable. For calibration, we do not have an NABL lab, sir. We send our gauges or our flow meters after we service them to NABL certified labs, which are there, which are doing the NABL approved certification for the specific components. So a lab sometimes would carry out uh, testing only for a specific component and a separate lab would carry out something for a separate component. So we send our components and instruments to NABL labs. Yes, Babu sir, we will share this entire presentation, and the webinar is actually recorded and it will be available on YouTube for you to watch and share later on as well. Mr. Babu asks again your question, sir, which gas is economical for industrial use, CNG or LPG? In your area, CNG is not available. We are afraid of using LPG. If we use LPG, the cost of operation goes up. Okay. So, first and foremost, sir, both the gases are recommended. Both the gases could be used for industrial purposes. Both the gases could be economical in their own way. Wherever LPG is available, of course, LPG is available in the entire country. It's available in 99.7 percent of the entire country and right from Ladakh to Kanyakumari, from Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh to Kutch and Dwarka. In the most remotest of places, LPG is available for industrial use, for bulk use. All types of cylinders are available of LPG across. There are 25,000 LPG distributors of the government PSU companies. So it depends on where you are located and what is the price of LPG, which is also governed by the government. Every month it is changing from month to month. Uh, if LPG is not available, if LPG is available, then of course LPG is one of the most best preferred fuels that can be used, which has a high calorific value and content. If PNG is available in your area, if there is a natural gas pipeline, if you are connected to the grid, if you are connected to uninterrupted supply of natural gas, you can also consider using natural gas for your industrial operations. You can consider using natural gas according to the price. Natural gas pricing works in a very different way. It does not come under GST. Remember, LPG comes under the GST and you get full GST rebate. If you are an industry and using LPG, you get full rebate of GST, which is at 18%. But if you are using natural gas does not come under GST. It comes under excise and VAT of that state. It is like a petroleum product, it is considered. So you have to pay different VAT and excise, which differs and varies from state to state. And every state has a different rule for the taxation of natural gas. And every natural gas distribution company has a different price to sell natural gas. So the natural gas price is not governed by the government of India. It is flexible. It can vary from customer to customer in the same city, and of course, it can vary from one city to another. So whatever is suitable for you, sir. LPG, of course, is available everywhere, and if natural gas is available, you can also consider that. Whatever suits you. We can please, sir, get in touch with us, get in touch with our team. Later on, we can help you out to do the ROI calculations, economics, and all the other calculations around it to help you out with what is the best for your purpose and your application as well. Uh, Dhaneshwar ji, to answer your question, you can put a gas pipeline underground. You can put it for LPG also. You can put it for natural gas also. There is no problem. Wherever you are using underground pipeline, you have to do some treatment to it. You have to ensure that it is wrapped and coated. So, it does not rust over a period of time. So there are different wrapping and coating mechanisms available. There are few of them which are really good, which can give you more than 100 years of life. There are few of them which are cheaper, which have a lesser life when it comes to wrapping and coating of the pipeline. So there is anti-rust coating, and then there is a uh, wrapping and entire coating that needs to be done if you are putting your LPG line underground. Or of course, you can use stainless steel pipelines as well if your budget permits. And stainless steel pipelines, of course, will not rust and will last the test of time. Uh, Mr. Mohammed asks, what is the standard design format for designing LPG for a commercial kitchen? Okay. This is a very, very different question, sir. Not kind of related to this, but please get in touch with our team, sir. We can take you through entire, the design parameters and calculations, how you have to design a commercial kitchen and a gas bank and a pipeline for a kitchen. I'll just throw some light on it since you have asked. The most important point for designing any gas bank or any gas pipeline is to calculate the peak load of the gas that is going to be used. And many people or customers do not do that or do not even sometimes know how to calculate the peak load. So the right way to calculate the peak load is to identify the number of burners, the number of equipment, and the number of different components that are going to be used which will need gas. So in your kitchen there could be burners, there could be fryers, there could be ovens, there could be different heating equipment, there could be all sorts of gas ranges. You have to find out and calculate what is the peak load of all those equipment, the burners, all those burners put together. Every burner has a capacity, has a BTU or a kilocalorie or a kilowatt capacity, and will give you how much gas or LPG that burner will consume in 1 hour. You have to calculate that for all the burners, and you will get a total value of LPG per hour at peak load for all these burners. And on the basis of that, then you select your gas pipeline and you select your gas bank accordingly, according to the peak load of the burners and the peak load of your entire kitchen. Right. So that's basically the parameter to design the entire gas bank and the gas pipeline. Peak load of the gas. That's the most important aspect. Mr. Sidappa, your question, can PE pipes be used for CNG pipelines? So to answer this, sir, PE basically means either it could be HDPE pipelines or MDPE pipelines. HDPE basically means high density polyethylene. MDPE basically means medium density polyethylene. So yes, these pipes can be used for laying underground pipelines only for CNG. These pipelines cannot be used for LPG. They can only be used for PNG or CNG, even and only when the pressure is under 8 bar, the pressure is lower. It's not CNG. So CNG is compressed natural gas. You use CNG at 200 bar. PNG would be at a pressure which is below 16 bar or below 8 bar for your factory. So you can use PE pipelines for piped natural gas only when you are laying an underground pipeline. If you're laying it above ground, PE pipelines are not to be used. You need to be using CS or carbon steel schedule 40 pipelines for underground transmission of natural gas. For overground, above ground transmission of natural gas. For underground, yes, you can use MDPE or HDPE pipelines. Uh, I think the last question, which is there on the chat right now, was the eligibility criteria to work as an inspector and auditor. The eligibility criteria is not at all really well defined. There is no such eligibility criteria, but you need to be having a degree in engineering or a ITI or a diploma in engineering. That's what the IS states. And then you need to have experience. You need to have training. We at Pune Gas also conduct these gas trainings for different mechanics and different staff and different people who are associated in the LPG and gas industry. And we certify them, we train them, and then they can inspect and audit these gas systems and gas banks. So it basically has to have a qualification of your education, and then you have to have a certain criteria where you have experience, exposure, and certification from a training authority. Okay, a few more questions. I think that's the last one. Yes, definitely, sir. We will let you know when we conduct our next webinars. We'll be in touch. Please follow us on our social media. We are very active. We will keep posting about uh, our webinars, our information sessions on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook as well. Our social media has become a very important tool and a media and a channel to connect with everyone. So please do connect with us on our Instagram. I think everyone is on Instagram these days, and you can follow our page. You can get all the updates as well for what we are doing and what people at Pune Gas are doing, how we are helping customers uh, to maintain their systems, to save money, to save costs on our products, on our different offerings, etc., etc. Yes, sure, Dhaneshwarji, we will take uh, note of your comment. We will take a webinar on safety very soon. We will plan that. Thank you for your feedback, sir. Uh, so thank you all again for your attention, your time. If there are any more questions, any more feedback, any recommendations, please feel free to add them in the chat box. Please feel free to email us to get in touch with us. We've shared our contact details with you. My team can give you our social media links and handles to follow on the chat. We'll put them on the chat, or you can just go on Instagram and simply put Pune Gas and follow us there. On LinkedIn, you can follow us on YouTube. This will be available on YouTube as well, the entire session, and we will be sharing this YouTube link with all of you once the webinar is over and the session is uploaded on YouTube by maybe about tomorrow. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your attention. Yes, thank you. Thank you all very much. Wishing you a great weekend. Wishing you a great few uh, weeks and months ahead. Diwali is coming soon. So I hope that this session helps you and you can test, certify, inspect, and maintain all your systems in the Diwali holidays. That's when the entire factories have shut down. So I hope that you all can test your gas banks. You all can get in touch with us to carry out the inspections and the testing and the audit for your factories and for your business in the Diwali holidays. So do get in touch with us for any requirements that you have, any help that you need as well. Right. So thank you all again very much. All the best and see you next time for the next webinar. Thank you so much. Have a good day, all of you. Have a good evening ahead.